In the quiet village of Willowbrook, a curious 10-year-old girl named Mira sat with a book, sighing. I wish our village looked beautiful like the pictures in my book. Full of color, flowers, and life. Her grandmother, Lele, smiled gently. Dreams become real, little one, but only when we take small steps toward them. Myra frowned. Small steps. That doesn't change anything. If I can't fix everything at once, what's the point? Ah, Grandma Lele said, but mountains are climbed one step at a time, and gardens bloom one seed at a time. Myra considered her words. Maybe. But I don't know where to begin. The next day, Mira looked at a dull, dusty path that snaked through the village. An idea sparked. What if I paint a little pebble and put it here? She found a smooth, gray stone, painted it a brilliant, sunny yellow, and set it carefully by the walkway. A boy passing by stopped and stared. Hey, why is that rock yellow? Because I painted it, Mira replied. I wanted the path to look brighter. The boy tilted his head. It does look happier, actually. The very next day, he returned with a stone of his own and painted it a deep ocean blue, placing it next to Mira's yellow one. Soon, other children joined in, and a little row of colorful stones began to grow, like a tiny stone rainbow along the path. Walking on, Myra noticed an empty patch of dirt near a wooden bench. What if I plant a flower here? She carefully dug a small hole with her hands and planted a single, tiny sprout she'd been given. The old miller, passing by, chuckled. You think one sprout will matter? Mira looked up, undeterred. Maybe not alone, but it's a start. The miller just grinned. Later that day, he returned with 2 more seedlings and planted them beside hers. The idea began to ripple through the village. A few girls brought colorful ribbons to tie on the fences, making them flutter like festive flags in the wind. A teacher, inspired by the small garden, started planting herbs in pots near the schoolhouse, their fresh scents filling the air. Kids painted tiny wooden signs with cheerful messages like "Smile" and "You are wonderful," and placed them in unexpected corners. One afternoon, as Mira walked through her village, she gasped. Everything looked different. The path shimmered with color. Flowers bloomed in once empty spots. Ribbons danced on fences. And happy messages greeted her from all sides. Everything looks different, she exclaimed to her grandmother. Different because of you, Grandma Lele said warmly. Mira shook her head. No, because of everyone. But you lit the first spark, her grandmother replied. You showed them the way. One morning, Mira saw that the bottom step in front of the bakery was broken and wobbly, a hazard for anyone going in or out. She knew she couldn't fix it alone. Instead of giving up, she took a piece of cardboard and wrote a simple sign. Let us repair this together. She placed it on the broken step. Within hours, 3 adults arrived, carrying planks of wood. A carpenter showed up with his toolbox, his face set with determination. A group of kids came with brooms and swept away the dust and debris. Working as a team, they measured, sawed, and hammered. In a single afternoon, the step was fixed, stronger and safer than before. The baker came out, overjoyed. Thank you all. Mira, this was your idea. Mira felt a blush creep up her cheeks. All I did was write a sign. The carpenter wiped his brow and smiled down at her. Sometimes, a small action invites a big response. A few weeks later, the mayor gathered everyone in the newly vibrant village square. Our once quiet village is now bright, colorful, and alive, he announced to the cheering crowd. To celebrate this wonderful transformation, we will hold our very first festival of colors. The crowd roared with excitement. Really? Mira whispered. her eyes shining with disbelief. The mayor smiled and pointed right at her. And the guest of honor is the girl who started it all with one little yellow pebble. The crowd turned and cheered. Mira, Mira. Mira blushed and smiled, her heart filled with a joy she'd never known. That evening, after the festival music had faded, Myra and Grandma Lele sat together under a sky full of stars. "I thought small things didn't matter," Myra said softly. "But the pebble became a path, the sprout became a garden, and one idea became a whole festival." Grandma Lele put an arm around her. "Big change is simply many small steps, walking in the same direction." Mira looked out at her transformed village, her heart full. "I want to do more," she said, with a newfound determination. "One tiny thing every day. Then the world will keep changing," her grandmother whispered. "One gentle step at a time." The very next morning, Myra stood before the old village fountain. It had been dry and dusty for years, its intricate carvings hidden under layers of grime. She looked at its grand, imposing structure. It seemed like an impossible task. But then she remembered. "Maybe I'll just clean a little piece of it." She took a wet cloth and began to scrub a small, forgotten corner. A neighbor walking by saw her and stopped. Then another joined, fetching a bucket of water. Soon, a small group of villagers had gathered, each one ready to help. From her window, Grandma Lele watched and smiled. "There she goes," she murmured to herself. Pebble by pebble. Through one small action, Mira learned a profound lesson. You don't need to change the whole world at once, just start with one tiny piece. Because small steps become big changes. If this story inspired you, remember that your own small action can make a difference too. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more stories that warm the heart. See you next time.